We are back with Elysian. This is the third time you've been on the channel, third time this time, which you can find at twitch.tv/YlisseanSJ, by the way, link down in the description below. Twitch streamer now. That's pretty cool. We're going to be doing it a little bit different now because I have a little bit of experience with these cards. So there's going to be a little bit of a challenge. You're going to give me 5 cards and a leader of one specific deck, and I'm going to tell you whether they can make a cohesive deck, how good do I think that is, and rate the cards individually together and see if I can find like common ground, similarities, things like that. So I'm excited to do this like one color video. I've done those like that in the past of Magic videos, like, oh, here's an all white episode, here's an all, you know, I have some of those episodes looked at in the future. I've done like an all fusion one before, and I'm eventually like an all fusion Yu-Gi-Oh video before, and I'm also in the process of doing an all link YouTube video. So I'm excited to see what this one color of UniVersus is going to lead me to. So excited about starting with the first card. We're going to do 5 cards and a leader, so 6 cards total. So let's start with the leader then.
All right. Yep. So this is going to be all on the all symbol. Notes for the symbol identity. It's very much about drawing cards, and that's about it. That's all it really does. It's just draw cards.
I like draw cards.
So here's the leader character, whichever.
Okay.
One. Also, there is a slight theme to this to these group. They're all combo.
This one is Eraserhead. It is 6 for a 6 check, but this is the leader, so it doesn't have to check anything anyway. 0 block. It doesn't matter the block either, right? Because it's a leader.
Right, unless it's in the deck, which you can do, but you're not going to.
Okay. Your starting hand size is 6. Your health is 27, and it says enhance. Your attack gets +1 speed for each attack in your card pool. If it is completely blocked, draw a card. Your attack gets +1 speed for each attack in your card pool. If it is completely blocked, draw a card. That seems pretty cool. Response. Commit. So you have to tap this card, Eraserhead?
Yes.
So can you attack and do that in the same turn, or do you not have to commit this to attack?
Read the response.
Okay.
To answer that question.
Response. Commit. After your rival plays an attack, choose one ability on that attack. It loses that ability for the rest of the turn. Oh, I get it. Okay, so you're not going to be doing this on your own turn, which is why you told me to read it.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
The enhance only works on your own turn, even though it says, because it says your attack, not like target attack or whatever.
Yes.
Also, it makes sense because it gets +1 speed. +1 speed's good, and it prevents your opponent from like completely blocking it because it makes you draw a card. And if your opponent does completely block it, which I kind of want to do so they don't take life, it's like this card will always deal damage, like because they don't want you to draw a card. The fact that this is offensive and defensive and draws a card is super cool. I like offensive and defensive. I like mid-range decks that create card advantage and are also can be offensive or defensive whenever you feel like, whenever like this situation arises. Like whenever you play a control deck and you need to be offensive, you can do that. Whenever you play against another a deck that's more aggressive than you and you need to like create card advantage and stop your opponent from doing stuff, you can also do that. So I like that concept. So I like Eraserhead. Whether it's good or not, I like Eraserhead. But let's see the first actual card of the all color.
All right, we're going to show you the one foundation of this group.
Okay, easily excited. Okay, this is just all me then. It's a 2 high block. Okay. It is a 5 check. It is a 0. Okay, so because it's a foundation. Okay. Response once per turn. After an attack is played, so it's your turn or your opponent's turn, it gets +1 speed and gains taunt if it does not already have it. And taunt is it has to attack through that before it gets to your opponent.
No, so that's Hearthstone. Taunt is just a trait. The attack is taunting you. Like that's how they're attacking you, kind of thing.
So does that have any like gameplay significance at all?
Some characters like specific keyword traits. Like let's say there's a character that says this punch attack gets +2 speed. If it's not a punch attack, it doesn't get the +2 speed.
Oh, okay. So you could play like taunt modifiers or whatever, even though taunt's like not an actual thing, but it is kind of. Okay.
Yeah, so there's keyword abilities and keyword traits. This one's just giving a trait.
Okay. How good do I think this card is? 2 high block is pretty good, since I think all of the attacks in this game, like the ones that are really good, are high attacks. And if this is a high block, it has a good chance to completely block the thing, even though it's going to give it +2 speed, because that's what the 2 means. Well, I'm going to say this is like a pretty like decent blocker if you block with it. The fact that it's a foundation with 5 check is pretty good. And because it's a foundation with a response, that means it seems like really good, because like not all foundations have responses, right?
They almost all have an ability, but this one, but they're just different, and so this one is rather unique for its kind.
Yeah, I don't think I've
that's the best
seen
thing about it.
a foundation like this, because it's like I don't think I've seen a foundation yet that like gives something speed, which is pretty cool. The fact
Yeah,
yeah, I don't think I've
I
seen
don't
one.
think
Yeah.
I don't think I've shown you a foundation that gives stats. No.
Okay.
Let me double check.
Yeah, this is probably the first foundation I've seen that gives stats. Giving +1 speed, and you can like, choose to use this or not to use it. So if it's like somehow beneficial for you to give your opponent's attack a speed or taunt, like if one of your cards say like, oh, stop a taunt attack, it gives a taunt. It's like, oh, it's a taunt attack, I can stop it. Or if it's, but I think it's like just a beneficial to you thing, but it could be a corner case of whether there's a different card that like makes it good for your opponent to have more speed or taunt or something. But as a foundation, giving your thing a higher speed to be able to get through more reliably, and also taunt if your deck cares with taunt. I'm going to lean towards this card being a pretty good card. Like maybe not a card that like. I mean, honestly, this card just might be what you just like want this card at all times, because you don't have anything in other foundation in your deck that modifies stats, and a foundation that modifies stats is pretty good. So like, maybe this is just like always the foundation that you want. And if you have like multiple of these, your thing gets like +2 speed. Like that also seems pretty good. I'm actually going to go back on what I thought. I thought this card would be like kind of medium, like you would just like play this as a tech card foundation in your deck. But now I'm kind of thinking that this card could just be like actually really really good.
Final answer?
Yeah.
You are pretty much correct. Your logic is not entirely 100%, but you are right that it is a pretty good card. So biggest thing is that it's a 0 difficulty.
Yeah.
0 difficulty, just, oh, I'm going to play 4 attacks in a turn, slap this on a 4, check it, build it down for a free foundation for the return.
Yep.
It's also just good for first turn build turns anyway. But the important part of this card is actually within the response itself. It doesn't have a cost to use it.
Right. It just does the thing.
It has right. So a lot of cards that might have a similar effect might say commit, so you're tapping it. So now you're not getting that +1 to your check to pass cards. It might flip it, so you only get to use it once while it's on the board. It might destroy itself. Like it, because it doesn't have a cost, it is reusable. It is a multifaceted resource in that aspect.
Right.
And just 1 speed is good. Speed is arguably the best stat of the game. So.
Yeah, it's like if you have multiple of these, like you don't have to like tap them or anything, and like if you have multiple, then it's like +1 speed again, and that's like super good. So it's like, how fast can you get these in play, which is like pretty cool.
Or spread them out across multiple attacks.
Exactly.
Too.
Yeah, exactly. It seems like there's a lot of uses, which is what led me to think this card's good.
Yeah, no, this card is really, really good. All right. Next up, we're going to show you the first attack.
Nice. Okay, the names of these cards are cool. Easily excited, like Eraserhead, Cat Punch. Cat Punch is a 4 difficulty, 2 mid block, 2 mid attack, 6 power, right?
6 damage. Yeah.
Damage. 3 check, and 3 is the line whether it's like a good early game check or not. 3, right? So it's like pretty good check.
3 is the standard for attacks.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and it's a punch. All right, enhance. If this attack is blocked, draw a card. Wow. Okay, enhance again. Commit 1 foundation. This attack gets +2 speed. Oh, wow. That seems like it works crazy with easily excited. Like, you're like, okay.
And the character.
You're like, okay, I have... Yeah, and your character too, since you're drawing cards. Your attack is +1 speed for each attack in your card pool. So, like, if you do this, you get +1 speed already. You use your response with easily excited if it's in your foundations, and then you get +1 more speed again, and then you can commit that same foundation because you didn't have to commit to do that in the first place, and then that gives you +2 more speed. So this is like not a 2 mid attack. This is like a freaking 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is like a 5-speed or 4-speed or whatever at some point in the game. Could even be like 5 or 6-speed at some point, especially if you have multiple copies of other cards. And that I can tell you is crazy. I don't think I've ever seen a 6-speed attack before. The fact that this is 4 difficulty is like a lot, but I've also seen attacks at 5 difficulty. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure I've seen
4 is low. 4 is
yeah, I've seen like 4. I've seen I think I've seen 6 before. So 4 seems pretty low, and also like even outside of the speed, you also get to draw cards if it's blocked. So it's like, oh, opponent, do you want to take 6 or do you want to block this? Oh, you blocked it? Okay, I draw a card. It's like, it just seems like a win-win-win-win in a card. I don't know. Like, I know the 2 mid block is like, it can block anything. And it's kind of medium for a blocker. Not that you would want to block with this. 6 power seems like a lot. And then the speed is also a lot. It's not a high attack or a low attack, which means it can be blocked by like, it can be blocked by anything. But not that you care if it's blocked anyway. Anything can block this. Oh, sure, I draw a card.
Draw 2 with your character.
Yeah, exactly. You draw a card and then you get plus, and then if it's completely blocked, you draw a card. So like maybe your opponent wants to block this, but not completely. but then when you have your character and Cat Butcher played, like, do they ever want to block it at all? But then they're just gonna, like, at some point in the game, like, I can feel a play pattern, right? Your opponent's like, okay, take 6. All right, I don't want you to draw a card, so I'll just take 6. All right, next turn, I'll take 6 again. All right, next turn, okay, I'll take 6 again. And at some point, you're like, oh, I'm at 9. I cannot take this anymore. So you block it, and you're like, oh, I guess I have to. And then you go to 3 because you don't completely block it, but they draw a card. And then you're at 3, right? So then now you have to start completely blocking this. And then when you completely block this, they draw 2. So it's like, wow. Wow. That's like a snowball that kind of gets out of control. I mean, this card's gotta be busted. I mean, especially in this deck that keeps drawing cards. I mean, these are all supposed to go. I mean, I'm seeing a trend. This is probably all in the same deck. And if it's not, I'd be surprised. But like, this card seems broken with the 2 cards that you've given me. Maybe it's just super bait too. Like maybe it's like, oh, you show these other cards that draw cards or whatever, and then you bait me with the card that draws more cards. I'm just gonna say this card's like insane.
It's very mediocre.
No!
It sees very minor play. The biggest issue is that like Eraserhead gives free speed. Easily Excited gives free speed, but the problem is you have to be playing Eraserhead first, and then you have to find the Easily Excited. And while you're probably going to put it in at 4, you still got to find one of the 4, right? You have to build it too. For the Cometa Foundation, that's still a decently steep cost, especially for a cheap card like this. But if you check poorly, like if you check a 3 on your first attack, now you're committing 2 for 2 speed. It's also a mid, so it's like, yeah, you're blocking it, and I'm drawing a card, but like, I'm not eating 6 damage either. Like,
but sure, I don't care if you eat the 6 damage. Give me a draw, or just eat the 6 damage.
But like sometimes, depending on the draw, that draw could be dead. Like, do you want to take the risk of just giving you a card or eating 6? Like most of the time, people just eat 6 early in the game, and you're right. That is the good. Yeah, and that is a good play pattern. But it's just there's better cards for difficulty on the all symbol.
Unfortunate. I don't care. I'm playing 4 of this. I don't care what anyone else does. Listen, why win the game when you can draw cards? I've said that enough.
True. Now we're going to show you, there is one new card type that I haven't shown you, and I figured I would save it for this one. Okay. And this is called an action card. So how this works is that when the condition is met, you say, I'm going to use a response or enhance from my hand. It's basically a hand trap.
Nice. Little Yugioh.
Yeah. So these don't go onto the field. They never touch it. If you're going to play it, it's most likely going to be from the hand. They can have in-card pool effects. But for the most part, they are just sitting in your hand waiting for the opportunity to be used.
Okay. This is a 1 difficulty 5 check, which is pretty good. It's a 3 mid block, which is like, okay, it can block anything, but it's also, it gives it 3 speed, which is a little bit more than I would want in a card. It's a taunt attack. Hey, it's a taunt. Response.
Taunt to action.
Taunt actions, not attack, sorry. It doesn't have power. It's an action. It has that little little lightning bolt there. Okay.
Yep, and is blue.
Response. After you block with this card. Okay. So you go to blocks and you like triggers your response and you say, I have a response. Rival attack gets -2 damage for the rest of the combat phase. And that includes like cards that can untap itself and attack again. Wait, no. Attacks aren't cards. I can need to remember that for this game. Attacks aren't cards. Attacks are just cards you play, but they're not actual creatures.
Correct.
You can't do it again.
They're
you can't attack with it again.
Yep. If you have another copy of it, you can, but like that's a different story.
But does this count for all names of the attack? All attacks with the same name, or just that one card specific?
All attacks that they play.
Oh wow! Okay, rival attacks, plural, get -2 damage for the rest of the combat phase. Remove this card when it leaves your card pool. Okay. Second enhance. Second enhance. I don't think I've seen this before. Remove. This attack gets +2 damage if it has taunt. Oh, you give it taunt, and then you do the second enhance. Oh, it's a taunt synergy. Sick. Okay, draw a card, and it gets stun 1. Oh, okay. You can give your thing 2 damage. Okay, if you need the 2 damage. You can give your opponent's thing, because it says this attack. I got that confused in the last video. This attack, you give your opponent's thing 2 damage if you don't care about the damage. And it will have taunt because your leader can give your opponent's things taunt. Right? No?
No.
Let's see. Not the leader. Wait, not the leader. Sorry. The easily excited can give your opponent's thing taunt. That's what I was thinking of. Your easily excited can give your opponent's thing taunt. And then your opponent's thing gets taunt, you use this, you draw a card, and then you also stun the thing. Which means that it remains tapped for 1 turn, right?
So stun is an enhance, and it says, so it basically is a keyword enhance, like I told you, keyword traits, keyword abilities. That's a keyword ability that says, enhance, your rival commits 1 foundation.
Okay. I'm going to read this again. Second enhance. Remove. This attack gets +2 damage. If it had... Wait. Oh, period.
Period.
If it has taunt, draw a card, and it gets stun 1. Easily excited, give your opponent's thing taunt. Draw a card. Oh, it gets the keyword that you can do it to your opponent. Not that it itself has to attack. Oh. So you wouldn't really use it on your opponent unless you really desperately needed to draw a card. You give 2 damage if you have an attack that has taunt. You draw a card, and then it gets stun 1. Can you use the stun 1 in the same attack as you're doing this second enhance?
Yes.
This seems like a super blocker. After you block with this card, they get -2 damage for the rest of the combat. And then you remove it. You remove it when it leaves your card pool, so you don't actually get the second enhance if you use the first ability. Am I reading that right? It just goes to your grave and you can't do the second enhance?
It removes from the game, so entirely. It's just gone.
So you can't do both of these?
Correct.
Huh. But the fact that you can have the ability to do either one of them if you want to, like if it's in your hand, and you want to use it defensively, you can just do this, block with it, shield 2 damage from everything for the rest of the turn. Okay?
Yep.
And then if you want to use this offensively, you can also, by giving yourself 2 damage, if it has taunt, you draw a card, and you get to tap one of their foundations.
Yes.
I mean, this is a modal card, and I love Druid and Hearthstone because of how many modal cards Druid has. Not because of the ramp or the big spells it has. Not the real reason why Druid's good. I like Druid and Hearthstone because of the multifaceted cards. And I like mid-range. And I like being able to do things. I like to have like one card like this that does like a defensive thing and an offensive thing. That's like really up my wheelhouse. Like, it's going to be... I'm just going to say this card's good because I really don't want it to be bad.
I would say this card is pretty okay. Best way to put it is this is like a sideboard card, and it's a pretty decent home in most sideboards because the biggest issue is just the +3 mid block.
That's what I was saying in the beginning. I was like, I don't really like that.
Yeah, that's honestly the biggest issue with the card. If it didn't have that big steep cost, it would probably be seeing more play, probably some main board play.
Mm-hmm.
but that's just it. Because -2 blanket damage for the rest of the turn, that's crazy. Because that applies to the current attack, that applies to the next attack, that applies to the attack after. If you have 2 of these in hand, that's -4 damage to everything for the rest of the
Yeah, it's
turn.
kind of crazy.
That's crazy, right? Um, so like it's a pretty decent card, and the second enhance, most people don't play it. It's a cute combo with Easily Excited because hey, I'm already giving my thing taunt. But like you're only really using it for the defensive ability because that is a good defense ability. That is a turn ender for a lot of characters, right?
Yeah.
Um, but because of just it's hard to decrease speed enough for the +3 to not hurt as much. It just kind of sees occasional sideboard for decks that can eat that cost.
I still like it. I still think it's good. I'm gonna play this card.
I'm gonna give you the half for that one because that one's kind of hard to judge properly.
True.
I think anyway. Also, the reason why it's second enhance, so it has to be the second enhance you play in a turn, and the reason for that is that the character himself, Monoma, he has his main ability is enhance. This attack gains any keyword trait of your choice. If you choose taunt, it gets +1 damage.
Hmm.
So because that's going to be the first enhance you do, that has to be second enhance. So it's the second
Makes
thing
sense.
you do in a turn. I
Makes
think that's
sense.
super funny.
That is funny.
All right. Fourth card. Yes, fourth.
All right, this one is Valiant Assault. It is an attack. It is a 4 difficulty, 2 high block. It is a 3 check, 3 mid attack, 4 power. Okay, it's a punch attack. It's also a combo punch. Okay. I'm so happy I had this down from the first video, because didn't we spend like an hour or like at least half an hour talking about all of these like the relevance of all these symbols and how they match up. If you're having trouble out there and you're watching this, watch the first video of this, okay? Just go to the first Elysian video and then learn this stuff with me and then come back to this video. Okay. Combo, enhance, draw 2 cards. Excuse me? Okay, just Pot of Greed whenever you want. And what is combo again?
I will explain that once you read the rest of the card.
Okay, enhance. If this attack deals damage, look at the top card of your deck. You may add that card to the bottom of your deck. Okay, so like scry's 1, basically. Like scry and magic.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
If it deals damage. So how combo works is I told you, you know how the card pool works, right? You play a card one at a time, and as you play more, they get progressively harder.
Yes.
And they stay in that card pool until the end of the turn.
Yeah.
So what combo says is that if the card preceding it, or cards, plural, meets the requirement, in this case it's looking for the punch keyword trait printed on the card, specifically printed. If you meet that requirement, you can use the enhance.
Oh, because it says combo punch. So this is a punch attack, and if it combos with another punch, and it printed on the card. Okay, I understand that. So you would play a punch attack, a different punch, and then you would, huh?
Cat punch.
Yeah, you play a punch, right? And then
like cat punch, like I showed
like
you
cat
earlier.
punch. Yeah, you'd play cat punch, and then you play this right afterwards. And since cat punch is a punch, you would be able to and do your combo enhance to draw 2 cards, and then you would also have the ability to do the other enhance if you wanted to, after it deals damage, if it dealt damage. So if your opponent like half blocks this or whatever, and this is a mid attack, so if they block and their only thing to block you with is like a 2+ high attack, like high block, like this card is, you would deal like half damage or 1 damage to them, or 2 damage to them, right? Like, getting that right? Okay. And then this would still do damage, so then you get to trigger your enhance to scry 1.
Correct.
I don't like that you scry 1 after you draw the cards, but I still think Pot of Greed on an attack is like insane, especially if you can like recycle your attacks, or like you're gonna keep drawing into more Valiant Assaults if this is a 4 of in your deck. Your leader, if you play this in the same deck as the leader, also draws cards. Like, cycling through your deck is so good. The 3 mid attack is okay. I've seen less mid attack than 3 before. I've also seen it higher, so it seems like kind of mid. The 4 power is also mid. Dealing damage to your opponent with only 4 is like pretty easy for your opponent to block, I think. The 3 speed isn't as good, but like the worst cards in this game that you wouldn't play all the time have a 3+ block anyway. So you would so the good cards you'd be playing have less than would have less than a 3 block anyway. I'm gonna say this card like kind of doesn't get in a lot because your opponent doesn't want you to trigger the enhanced to scry 1, but the fact that it combos with a punch, and if you build your deck so that all of your attacks are punches, if not most of them, you're always drawing 2 cards no matter if this gets in for damage or not. This is a little bit of a medium blocker since it's only a high block and it's 2. So if it was like a 1 high block, I would be like, oh, this card's like really good. I still think this card's really good. I love drawing cards. I'm going to lean towards this card being above average.
It's hard to evaluate this card because this card is, on paper, one of the most busted cards in the game. But there's always the caveat, but it is on some of the worst symbols for its combo condition.
Okay.
So I would say I'm trying to think of how to get you for this.
Well, is this like busted in the right deck, but like really bad everywhere else?
Oh, 100%. Draw 2 cards just.
Oh god, I know.
That's crazy.
Like, everything about this card just tells me it's super medium, but then it says draw 2.
Right, exactly. So basically, this entire card is kind of built to be, it's supposed to be really underwhelming in terms of stats because you're playing it on a 5, but it's a 3 mid for 4, and so you're probably wondering like, why is that a good thing in this specific situation? And that's because it's a waste to block it because it is so slow, but it's also because it's 4 damage, it's even more of a waste to block it because
I know
6 is a lot, 4 is nothing. Like, so it's designed to get in to deal damage, and you're asking why you would want to scry at the end. It's because of how checks work. So if you're playing this attack, if it deals damage, you get to look at the top and you get to see, is this a 3 or is this a 5?
Okay.
If it's a 5, you're going to keep it on top because you want to check that 5. But if it's a 3, you want it off because you want to check a 5.
You don't want to check a 3 because like it doesn't allow you to keep going through your turn, right? Right?
Because it makes because it's basically because a 3 is telling you if you are playing something like on a 6 or a 5, you have to commit 2 or 3 or 4 or more, right, to be able to pass that card.
Right.
But you want to keep your turn going. You want to keep stringing because you just drew 2 cards.
Yeah. So it kind of helps you like look for your high checks.
Exactly.
Okay, that's something that I didn't think about when evaluating this card. But like your opponent's just not going to block this anyway. Like.
Right, exactly. And so that's the thing is like everything about this card is crazy, but it's just in the worst symbols for how crazy it is.
Yeah, like give this a like pip every one of these numbers by 1, and like the card's broken, right? It's like if it was 1 high block and 4 speed and like 5 power and like a 4 check, this card would be actually absolutely busted, right?
Right.
Like,
but no, it's the biggest issue is that it's an air, all, or good card, and good has a lot of punches, but they have better punches. All doesn't have a lot of good punches, and air has no punches. So because of its symbols, it doesn't see play. But when it sees play, it kind of pops off because it's just to draw 2 cards.
Yeah, like you see my like hesitation with this. I'm like, I can't really say draw 2 cards isn't good, but like this card seems pretty medium.
I think I give it to you because I think that this card is just so hard to evaluate without knowing what the entire card pool.
But you gave me this card.
It's important. It's an important card.
You gave it to me.
It's a real. You got it close enough, and that's all I was looking for.
Okay, cool.
Just how close you got to how good it is.
I like it.
And now we're at the final card, the Piece de Resistance, and it's part of what I've been building for this entire time.
Uh-oh. Focused attack. This is a 5 1 mid block, 5 toughness. No, 5 difficulty. I keep saying toughness. I even said toughness in the last video. 5 difficulty, 6 mid attack. That's the kind of attack we want to see. We have 3 power, which is abysmal. We have 3 check, which is average. We have a punch, and it is a combo mid attack, mid attack. Whoa, you have to combo this after you mid attack twice?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. Combo enhance. Whoa. Combo enhance. Does this have to be used as an enhance after you've already enhanced?
No, it's the same with the draw 2. You have to meet the requirement of the combo keyword.
Okay. This attack gets plus 3 damage for each printed all, right?
Mid.
Oh, mid. Okay. I thought that was all. This attack gets plus 3 damage for each printed mid attack in your card pool. Well, you've already done 3. I mean, you've already done 2. This is your 3rd one, and this counts as one printed mid in your card pool. So this is like plus 9. It's like a 12, a 12 power.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, 12 damage. I mean, 12 damage, 6 speed mid attack with a 1 mid block. Okay, I have to keep reading. Okay, the second line has to be a downside. All right, deadlock enhance. So you can only enhance this if you have like, what is it, 10 foundations?
Your rival has 11 or more.
11 or more. I was close. If your rival has 11 more foundations, you can deadlock enhance this. Commit 3 rival foundations. This is an upside. This is an upside. I'm saying it has to be a downside, but it's an upside. Commit 3 rival foundations. This attack gets plus X damage. X equals the total printed difficulty of the committed foundations. Ylissean, what are you showing me here? This is Exodia. If I have this, I can't go wrong with this. Like I play this, I do 15 damage. Wait, plus X damage, X equals the total printed difficulty. This can do 20. What the hell? All right, this is how do I say this? This is Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. This card's like 4,500 attack. This card's blue. This is Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. I gotta tell you, this card's broken. Best card in the game.
So this card has a in community term. It is not the official card name. The official card name is Focus Attack. We call this Funny Punch because it's a very funny punch.
It's just a funny card.
It's a very funny card. So the thing about this card is that, like, you read it and it's insane. It is like just like Valiant Assault. It's just crazy. And unlike Valiant Assault, there's a lot of good mid attacks on all life and order, right?
Yeah, I've been looking at mid attacks and like they're all mid attacks for the most part.
The problem.
No, don't tell me there's a problem.
Is that it's on a 7. That's number 1.
A 7? Where's the 7 on this card?
The 5.
Oh, the 5 plus 2 more attacks?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's on a 7, so that's already pretty steep. Like, that is a steep cost. The other issue is that combo is easy to mess with, and there's a reason why I showed you this this set of cards after Mineta.
Okay.
Because remember, Mineta says your rival puts 1 card in their card pool face from their stage.
Yeah.
So that cuts off combo. Because it's not the one preceding it, right? So the biggest issue with combo, and the biggest issue with combo decks as they've existed, because obviously this is going to go in a deck that it can get its combo. It can't do anything else. The deadlock is nice, but you're not going to bank on a deadlock. You want your card to do something all the time.
Right.
So when you can make this card work, when you can get a card where you're fine playing mid attacks, because mid attacks are also easy to block. A lot of the omni blocks of the game, the one that say neg the speed to 0 or reset the speed to base value and so on and so forth, they all block mid. Because that's the point of an omni block.
Right.
So it's asking for too much, and while it does deal crazy damage at very fast speeds late into a string, it's one of those things where it's like, unless you get it exactly right, you're not going to get it, right?
So weirdly enough, actually, ironically, it's a combo deck.
Yes, exactly. It is 100% because you get that one. If they linchpin you just right in that combo, you're cooked. You can't play anymore. Um,
Interesting. I mean, similarly enough, if you have 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons on the field and you play Polymerization, and your opponent gets rid of one of your Blue Eyes White Dragons in response, you don't get the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon.
correct. Basically, that's basically what this is.
But it's Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. This is what I'm saying. It's the Ultimate Dragon, but it's a little bit hard to get into play. So I understand.
Yeah. So now that we've wrapped all these cards together, you've already said yourself there's a theme with them.
Yeah, just draw cards and punch
How
them.
and gain speed because
Yeah.
So what do you think of this as a cohesive deck core
Without seeing
with the
all of
character
the
input
other
in?
deck cores, I like this. What do I think of it? I like it because like your leader draws cards, and every time your leader draws cards, that's absolutely bonkers. It also messes with your opponent's stuff, like with Eraserhead having responses. After your rival plays an attack, choose an ability on it, it loses the ability, which is like pretty good. I don't know if you can erase combo. Can you like erase combo with this card? Like the ability to combo?
You can erase the combo enhance entirely.
Oh, that's kind of crazy. The fact that it's offensive and defensive, since it has the ability to interact with your opponent and also has the ability to attack for a lot, get in for a lot of damage, but also have a lot of speed. Like, I'm going to say this deck is not the best deck in the format, but I think this is a deck that you can do well with in a tournament and not feel sad. I think this is like a pretty good deck, but it's not the best deck.
Spot on.
Let's go!
Basically, because of everything that I listed about with Funny Punch, that's the biggest issue with the deck is that because it's reliant so much on a combo, uh, if you can negate the combo, then it's all done. But everything else you've said about it throughout this video is 100% correct. This is a mid-range deck. This is a deck that will kill you on turn 3, if not 4, but mostly turn 3. Which makes it kind of slow for this game, because this game you want to kill your opponent as soon as possible, because if you don't kill your opponent, they'll kill you.
But you're also interacting with them if you need to.
Exactly. So this deck has the survivability, and your character helps with that, because let's say your opponent plays a card that says enhance, you're cooked.
Exactly.
I'm gonna tap my character and no, I'm not cooked anymore.
Right.
So ultimately, what this deck boils down to is, can you get Funny Punch online, and how well can you do it? And by doing so, you want a large, massive foundation. So even if you check poorly, you don't care. You want to get a lot of speed, because speed is the most important stat. And because Funny Punch is technically on 9 mid for 12 by default, because of your character, you can just pop off. But then they mess with your card pool in some way.
Actually,
or
yeah, this deck reminds me of for those Magic the Gathering players watching of in modern Indomitable Creativity, where there's a combo has a pretty steep cost where you have to pay like 4 or 5 mana and target your thing and have your thing not die in order for you to get this like big thing Archon of Cruelty on the field. But it's also a mid-range deck when it's not doing that. It's like, oh, you can stop your opponent with Leyline Binding, or you can stop them with Lightning Bolt, or you can get on the board early with a card like Fable the Mirror Breaker or Wrenn and 6 or something like that. Has interaction like Teferi, Wrenn and 6, Teferi, Time Raveler, things like that to stop your opponent. It can stop your opponent. It can be aggressive when it needs to, but it also has this crazy combo finish that if it's stopped, it sucks. But like the thing it's doing, if it happens, is so good that it wins the game when it does that. But it also can play the mid-range strategy.
Exactly, that's exactly what this deck does, and that's why the drawing cards. That's why there's so many draw cards in the deck, because basically every single card that isn't a utility foundation draws a card.
Yeah.
Funny Punch obviously doesn't, but hey, if you're gonna block it, because you're gonna want to full block this,
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking the card off the top.
Right.
And then, oh, would you look at that? It's another Funny Punch. Now I've got 4 mid attacks in my card pool.
Right.
Like, I'm just gonna keep going.
Right. I like that.
This is my deck. This is the deck that I built. I've worked on it a lot. It is my baby. It's not very good. I've not won any tournaments with it, but I gotten far enough where I'm proud of it.
Nice.
I love it. I call it mono mid, mono punches, mid punches, funny punch.
That's oh my god. That's a big name. I'm calling it.
That's the joke.
That's a joke. That's a very mid name, I must say.
Thank you.
It's a good name, but I'm complimenting you by calling it mid.
Oh, I got it. Mono mid, mid punches, mono punches, mid range, funny punch.
Okay, I'm calling the thumbnail. I can see it already. It just says mid funny with this freaking picture of the card. It just says mid funny.
Yes. Yes, please do.
Okay.
But yeah, that's my core. That's my deck. If you ever are interested, I will send it to you because it is a fun deck.
Nice.
It is everything that you have described that you like in drawing cards.
Yeah, I do like it. Okay, well, thank you very much, Ylissean, for coming on the show. By the way, check out the link down below of the Twitch channel as well that I alluded to in the beginning of the video. Streaming on Twitch, so if you'd like a little bit more of this type of content and you like the stuff that we're talking about on the channel and you like drawing cards, go ahead and check out Ylissean's channel. Thank you once again for coming on the show for the third time. You get one video per month since you're a Patreon patron, so looking forward to making a video next month as well, and I'll see you all next time. And as always, peace.